Welcome, crafters, to a monthly calendar mini album tutorial. I'm Shari Filamahala here at the Graphic 45 headquarters, and today I'm going to teach you how to take one of these pre-made album bases and turn it into a fantastic interactive calendar album. So this is the outside of the calendar album. And then once you open it up, you can see we're already starting off with our January pages. And each month has 3 pages dedicated to it. You can see each month also has these cute little pockets here, as well as these fun pocket pages where we are going to be cutting out some of those cut aparts from your cut apart pages for each month and adding in some great spots for writing in your sentiments, even adding on some cute little photos. See, these spots would be great for adding a little photo or two onto, and then writing maybe your favorite quotes or documenting some favorite activities that you did in that month. So we love how you can fit 36 pages in this one album. And that's not even to mention our side loading pockets yet, and all the things that we are stuffing into our other pockets. So it's of course going to end with December, but just to now show you with the side loading pockets how many other fun goodies there are. And then in the side loading pockets, you can see we've got these great photo mats, perfect for adding 1, 2, 3, 4 more photos to. This album has been created for us by Carla Lavera, and you will not be disappointed with Carla's work. If you are not familiar with her work, she does a lot of gorgeous Graphic 45 mini albums that are just full of interactive details and spaces for your photos. She really goes above and beyond when creating with Graphic 45, and you'll see she really uses up the kit, making the most out of what you're going to get sent to you every month as well. So to create this album, you're going to need to pick up the Volume 1 for 2022 kit. You can do that by hopping on over to our website, G45papers.com, or heading down to your local Graphic 45 retailer. Grab your supplies and let's get started. Step 1, we are going to cut our January Flourish paper to 5 by 7/8 by 5 by 7/8. Then add your adhesive of choice. I'm using some art glitter glue. And we are going to open up our album and add this into the inside front cover. And then lay it down flat and adhere this on to your inside cover. You can see I've got some excess glue, so that's where I should normally have my handy dandy damp towel ready to go, but I forgot that step, so I'll be right back. Now that I've got my damp towel, just clean off my edges. We're gonna pop out our Winter Wishes chipboard piece, and then if you want to go the extra mile, you can always use a nail file or some sandpaper and trim off those little nubbins. So I want to turn this into a pocket, but you can see it's 2 pieces and I don't want this to pop out and get lost. So I'm just going to take some double-sided tape adhesive like this. You could also use some washi tape. I'm just going to put it on the back of my chipboard piece. That way this isn't going to pop out and go anywhere. And then I can still add my adhesive to the bottom edge. In the center, just about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And then from our January cut apart page, we are going to cut apart this tag. Of course, if you want to keep it simple, you can take your paper trimmer and just do the nice rectangle. Otherwise, you can get in there like Carla has done. First rule of fussy cutting is always cut out just the small area you want to use and then get rid of that big 12 by 12 sheet. We don't need that bogging us down. And here I'm just going to have a nice little border of that white or ivory snowflake. So there you have it. We've fussy cut out our first cute little tag, and this is just going to slide right into our little winter wishes pocket. Step 2, page 2, we are going to cut out this January label you can see here, and we want it to be a total of 5 3/8 of an inch. And then from our January Flourish page, we're going to use the B side, and we've cut this piece out to be 4 3/8 by 5 3/8. Now we're going to adhere these down. I've added a U shape onto that, so I'll have an opening on my right hand side. You know, I don't know that I will use it, but I like having my options and keeping them open, so you can adhere it all the way down or do it how I've done it. It's up to you. And then just adhere this onto our page. Then adhere the January vertically, and you can see I've got my little pocket there and a great space for a photo. All right, so I know that I said step 2, page 2, but sorry, step 2, page 1. Now we are on step 3, page 2. Also, if you have anything like these cute little clips here, it can be handy to have these ready to go while you're doing this album. So step 3, we are cutting another piece of January Flourish to 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. So unclip and then adhere. Now from our cut apart page, we're going to take these 3 stamps, leaving them together, and our Winter Wonderland. Adhere the stamps in an L shape like so, and these are going to go in the bottom left-hand corner, and then adhere the Winter Wonderland. Step 4, the first thing we want to cut out is this journaling card, and we are going to trim it off to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4, and we just took the top left-hand section of that. And then we are going to cut out this border piece that we also want to be 5 3/8 of an inch. We're going to cut out this cute little tag, the bird and the nest, and I wonder if the snow loves the trees and the fields. Adhere our journaling piece down just right above our built-in pocket. And then adhere the Winter Wishes border. And then from the January Flourish paper, we've cut this to be 5 3/8 by 1 1/8. And this is just going to go flush with the right and left-hand sides of our border piece, and leaving about 1/8 of an inch on the bottom of our pocket. So mine just does go over just a tiny bit over the Let It Snow border section, but you can still read all the words and it still looks great. Now all we got to do is stuff our pocket with these little cuties. Step 5, we are going to cut our February Flourish to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4 and adhere this flush above our built-in pocket. Now from our February cut apart page, we are going to cut out this border that's going to be 5 3/8 by 3/4, and then we are going to cut out this little tag here, our For You rectangle down here, the greetings rectangle, and these cut apart stamps. We want these to be a total of 5 3/8 of an inch. Adhere my Valentine border to the top of the pocket, leaving about 1/8 of an inch showing at the top. And then center your stamps in the space below. And then we're going to stuff our little Valentines in our pocket. And then we're going to cut the month of February from our cut aparts. And again, this is going to be centered and be 5 3/8 of an inch. And then I like to pick up the page that I'm adhering onto, so I'm not thinking that any of this space has to do with this page. So I'm holding this page, I've isolated it, and now I can add my February label to the top there, just leaving an equal border on the sides and top. I've added a U shape to the back side of my Flourish paper. This Flourish paper has been trimmed to be 5 3/8 by 4 3/8. And I did it in that U shape, so if I do want to stick something in here, I have that option open to me. And you can see that these pages are starting to replicate each other, but with slight variation. So the January had it on the side and this has it on the top. Step 7, we've cut our February Flourish B-side to be 5 3/8 by 4 3/8. And just adhere that down. This is the last page of our first signature. So this album has 6 signatures in there. You can see those are these sections on the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From the February cut apart, we've cut out this border piece to be 5 3/8 by 1 inch. And then I've added adhesive in a U shape. Of course, you can adhere all the way down. It's up to you. So when you add it in a U shape, you can see when you're taking our next pieces that we're going to be using from the February cut apart, I can slide this in here, which I can pull out, and then it leaves all this space for a photo, and I can adhere it down later. However you want to do it. You can see Carla here has adhered hers down. So it's really up to you, but I'm going to leave mine open as a tuck spot and then just add a line of adhesive to the bottom of my Roses Are Red piece that we're also cutting out from our February cut apart. And I'm just going to adhere this about a 1/2 inch from the left-hand side, about halfway over my little tuck spot. I can now slide this in anywhere in here. Step 8, we are going to cut out the month of March label, and it's going to be in the center again and be 5 3/8 of an inch. And then we are going to cut out this border, Luck and Laughter, which is also going to be 5 3/8 of an inch. And last but not least, our little journaling space that is also going to be, it was a total of 6 by 4, but we've trimmed it down. So now it is 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches. Adhere your March label to the top, your journaling to the center, and Luck and Laughter to the bottom. Step 9, we're going to cut our March Flourish to be 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And that's going to go on our next page. From the March cut apart, we've cut out 4 stamps, and I've added adhesive in a U shape. And this is just going to go towards the bottom, about a 1/2 inch or so from the bottom, and sides equal distance. It's a little less than half. And then also from that cut apart page, we fussy cut out our little tag, and that slides right into your pocket. Step 10, we are just cruising on this album, which I love. So we're going to cut March Flourish to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4, and then we're going to adhere it text side up, just flush with the pocket in the center. So I don't know about you, but my favorite of the months happens to be my birthday month, which is March. And I'm just wondering, is that also your favorite? Does your favorite happen to be your birthday month? Let us know in the comments below what your favorite is and if it coordinates. And now we're going to add on to our pocket. So We are using the March cut apart paper, and this has been cut to 5 3/8. And it's the border Luck Laughter with all 3 sections. And then underneath that, we're going to use another piece that's 5 3/8 by 1 inch. And this is the B side of the cut apart. But just in case we're going to be using some other pieces or you want to save it, you can see this is the section that we cut it from that we're going to be using. And then we've cut out these tags to slip into our pocket. So I've adhered those 2 pieces, and now I'm going to take this March sticker, top of the morning to you, and I'm just going to put this in the center. Then I'm going to stuff my pocket. Remember to mark your tag for March 16th is my birthday. Step 11, we were cutting our April Flourish paper to 5 3/8 by 3 1/4 and adhering this flush above our pocket and centered. From our April cut apart page, we've got our rectangular pieces that we pull out of our pocket and this cute little tag, our April month that is 5 3/8 of an inch. And then another piece that's 5 3/8 by 1 inch. And we're using this border piece, but we'll be using the B side. Add your border pieces and stuff your pockets. This collection really is, I just think, probably our most usable collection out of all collections we've ever come up with. I love that the color palette ranges from something for everybody. The florals are great. The sentiments, it's just, I don't know, absolutely perfection to me. Step 12, we're going to cut our April Flourish to 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 and adhere it down, picking up that page. From the cut aparts, cut out 1 postage stamp and adhere it to the bottom left, about a 1/8 of an inch from the side and bottom, and then cut out the April showers, and this is just going to go over our stamp just a little bit. Step 13, we are taking our April Flourish paper and cutting it to 5 3/8 by 3 3/8, and this is going to go towards the top of our next page, the last page in our second signature. So now I've added this 1 piece here, and it is going to be 5 3/8 of an inch by 2 inches. In the directions it says 1.5. However, I just measured and it is 2 inches. So make sure you're getting the springtime Easter sentiment as well as the stamps in there. And then I adhered it in a U shape so I can tuck something in there if I choose to. Step 14, we're cutting out our May Flourish paper to be 4 3/8 by 5 3/8. And I added a U shape there. And it's just going to go on the left-hand side of my next signature, signature number 3. And then just how we've cut out all of our other months to be 5 3/8 of an inch, we'll do the same with May. It's going to be May. And adhere that bad boy down. Step 15, we've cut our cut apart to be 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches. And you can see we have the left-hand side, so just a bit of the right was cut off. Now we're going to take the B side of that May Flourish, and we've cut it to be 5 3/8 by 1 3/8. And I've just added adhesive in a U shape again, but of course you can adhere it all the way down if you prefer. Because in this next step, Carla has us put down this Celebrate sticker that matches perfectly. And if I put that down where she has it, it's going to obstruct my pocket. However, I'm just going to line the top of it with some scrap paper, like so. And then I'll fussy cut out my sticker once again. So this way it won't act as a sticker, or just that top half won't. But of course you can always, you can use baby powder to rub on the back side to get it to not be sticky anymore. So now I've added a little bit of adhesive to the bottom, right in the center, with about a top inch or so of my sticker hanging off my little pocket area. But of course, if you want to keep it simple, just adhere it all down like we have here. Step 16, our pocket page. We are going to take our B side of May Flourish and cut it to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. Now from the A side of the May Flourish, we're cutting it to 5 3/8 by 2 inches. And this is going to go in the center on top of that pocket. From the May cut-aparts, we're going to take 3 stamps and adhere these towards the right and top of the pocket. And then from the cut-aparts, we've cut apart our 3 standard pieces along with this little tag, and even fussy cut out this little top wing of the buddy fly. And those are going to tuck in beautifully there. Step 17, we're taking the June Flourish and we're cut it to 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. The June Flourish, we've cut this piece to be 5 3/8 by 1 5/8. And then this is just going to adhere to the bottom of our pocket. From the June cut apart pages, we've cut this to be 5 3/8 by 1/2 inch. It says Sunshine and Smiles. And then from the June cut aparts, we're going to take these 3 cuties and stuff those in our pockets. Step 18, we are going to take the journaling part, and we are taking the right hand side this time. We've cut it to be 5 3/8 inch by 4 inches. And then we've cut out our June plate to 5 3/8, as well as this cute little border piece. And now we are going to adhere these on. I'll just start with my June. I just wanted to let you know I apologize for getting our kit video tutorial videos out late this month. I have been sick all month long, so I apologize for that, and hope that you have been having a great year so far and that you're staying healthy. I am happy that all of our kits do come with a project sheet, so even though the video tutorials were out late this month, at least you had your project sheets to work from. But we are really excited about our monthly kit programs this year. For our album club, or our album kits, we've changed the name. So it used to be Club G45, and this year we just changed it to Album Kit because we always had the most success with our albums, and that's what everybody wants from all the feedback that we've been getting. So that's why we decided to go that direction. So you know what you're getting every month, and it's going to be a really great tutorial full of new techniques. So we are stoked. Step 19, we're taking our June Flourish, and we've got this to be 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And this is the last of our 3rd signature. So we are halfway done with our pages inside our album. I love when the steps are repetitive enough that you can kind of get on some cruise control and just start relaxing and having fun creating something so gorgeous. So from that June cut apart page, we've cut out 3 stamps, added a U shape, and put this in the bottom left hand corner. Here I'm going to add this little cut apart to our pocket we just created, and I'm going to add this Father's Day tag So it'll be great for adding in your Father's Day photos, or maybe you want to write something sweet. But if you want to use this for something else, maybe a wedding or baby shower, a beautiful garden photo, you can always substitute this for a different sentiment or leave it out. On to July. For step 20, we are taking our July plate and cutting it to be 5 3/8 of an inch. And this time we are going to go vertical on the right hand side of our page. And then from the July Flourish, the background, we've cut this to 4 3/8 by 5 3/8. Step 21, we've cut July Flourish, the B side, to be 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And adhere this down. And then from the A side of that July Flourish, we've cut this piece to be 1 5/8 by 5 inches. You can adhere this whole thing down flat or create a belly band. So I'm going to go for the belly band option myself and adhere it about 1/4 of an inch from the left hand side and equal top and bottom. And from the July cut aparts, we are going to add adhesive to just the back half of Make Memories, and that's going to go towards the top about 1/2 inch from the top of our July Flourish paper. And now we are able to add things behind here if we'd like. From the July cut aparts, we have the top left hand edge. We've cut this to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. We've centered and adhered. From the July Flourish, we've cut this to be 5 3/8 by 3/4 of an inch. And it's going to go on top of our pocket. And then from the July cut aparts, we've taken 5 3/8 of an inch of these stamps and these 3 cute little tags that are going to get stuffed in our pocket. Now onto our August page. For step 23, we've cut this August Flourish to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. From the August cut aparts, we are going to be using the B side of this, but we're using this border area so you know where to cut. And we've cut it to be 5 3/8 by 1 inch. And this will adhere to the bottom of our pocket. Take the August label and of course cut that down to 5 3/8 again, our magical measurement for this album. Cut out these cut aparts and add them to your August pocket. Adhere a square of the August Flourish, that's 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And from the cut apart, take this Warm Greetings cut apart. I'm just going to add a line of adhesive at the top and adhere it to the center top. Step 25, we're cutting out the journaling card from the August cut apart to be 5 3/4 by 4 inches, and we want our right hand side to be complete, so we'll just trim off a little bit of that journaling card on the left. And then go ahead and center this and leave about 1/8 of an inch from the top. And then from the August Flourish, we have cut this piece to be 5 3/8 by 1 3/8. I've added a U shape adhesive to the bottom. Cut out 2 stamps, and I've added adhesive to the bottom, leaving the top 1/2 inch unadhered. And it's going to pop over my little blue Flourish section. And then cut out this sunflower sentiment and just have that overlap over your stamps just a bit. Onto our 5th signature, our September month, and step 26. We've cut out our September label to 5 3/8. And now we're going to cut out our September Flourish to 5 3/8 by 4 3/8 and adhere just underneath our September label in the center. Step 27, we've cut out our September Flourish to be 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 and adhere it onto our next page. And from the September cut apart page, we've cut this border to be 5 3/8 by 1 inch. And I've added adhesive in a belly band fashion and adhere it about 1/2 inch from the left. Add a U-shape adhesive on the back of 3 stamps. And these are just going to be about 1/4 inch from the left and bottom. Step 28, we've cut out the September journaling card and left the bottom left intact and cut it to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. From the September Flourish, we've cut it to be 5 3/8 by 2 1/8. Yes, 2 1/8. And this just goes on our pockets. And then take another one of these September borders at 5 3/8 and 1 inch. And this is just going to be weighted a little bit on towards the top of our pocket. Cut out these 4 pieces and stuff them into your September pocket. Step 29, we've moved on to October, and we've cut our October Flourish to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/4 and adhered it. And then from that same paper, just using the A side, we've cut a piece that's 5 3/8 by 1 inch, and this is just going to go to the bottom, and then adhere from the October cut aparts a 5 3/8 by 1 inch border. Cut out these 4 cut aparts from that same paper and stuff your pocket full of those treats. Step 30, we've cut our October label to be 5 3/8, and then we have our October Flourish that is 4 3/8 by 5 3/8. And then we're going to take for step 31 our October Flourish that's been cut to 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 and adhere it text side up. From that cut apart page, we're going to cut this purple border out to be 5 3/8. And it's going to go about 1/2 inch from the bottom. And then I've cut out 3 stamps, added adhesive in a U shape, and this will go towards my bottom right. Step 32, our first of our November papers and our last signature in the album. We've cut out our November label to be 5 3/8, and then our November Flourish, these gorgeous birds and butterflies, at 5 3/8 by 4 3/8. Step 33, we've taken the journaling card for November and cut it down to be 5 3/8 by 4 inches, and we've kept the top right or the top left intact. Added adhesive in a U shape on the bottom of these stamps that measure to be 5 3/8 of an inch, of course. And then we are going to take the sentiment and add a line of adhesive on the bottom that says "Live Simply." And this is just going to go right in the center of our stamps. Step 34, we've got our November Flourish cut to 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. And of course, we're just going to center this just above our pocket. From the November cut aparts, we're going to cut out 2 of these border pieces that are 5 3/8 by 1 inch. Adhere them to your pocket and take this Be Thankful cut apart and put it in the center. From your November Flourish, we're going to cut out these 4 pieces and stuff away. Step 35, we've cut our December Flourish to 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. From the December cut apart, cut out our December plates and this border at 5 3/8 by 1 inch. Adhere to your pocket and cut out these 4 cut aparts and put them in the pocket. Step 36, we're taking the December Flourish that's been cut to 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. Cut out 3 stamps from the December cut apart, and I just added adhesive to the top, and I'm going to adhere it about 1/4 inch from the top and from the left. That way I can slide any of my photos or things underneath here, and then I can adhere down more completely after I've got it all dressed up. From that December cut apart, we are cutting out this journaling card to be 5 3/8 by 4 inches, and we're keeping the left intact, so just trimming off a bit. The December Flourish The December Flourish has been cut to 5 3/8 by 1.5, and I'd adhered in a U shape. For step 38, we've cut this to be 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, so a bit larger than the other pages since this is going on our back inside cover. Make sure you've got a good amount of adhesive and are getting a great bond. I've carefully peeled off my tag. It's 2 different stickers. Of course, you can adhere them separately or just the frame. And this is going to go in that bottom right corner. So we've completed all of our insides and they are looking gorgeous. Now we're going to move on to our cover. And while working on the cover, I like to find the center of my album and flip it open. That way I know everything's right side up and I know this is my front, this is my back. Let's get started. With our August Flourish, we've cut this piece to be 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. I've added a generous amount of my liquid adhesive, my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to center this on my front cover. From that August Flourish paper, we are cutting this to be 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. And this is just going to go about 1/2 inch from the left-hand side, centered from top and bottom. So from the November Flourish, we're cutting a square out to be 4.5 by 4.5. And if you want to just go and keep it square, you can always go ahead and add this to your front like so. But if you want to go the extra mile, add some extra dimension and interest by introducing a different shape, we are going to get a round circle. So if you can find something, or if you have die cuts, of course you can use your die cuts. This is about 4 3/8 of an inch. So anything smaller than 4.5 is going to work. If you don't have a metal die cut, you can always find a household object that is going to work for this. So my roll of a 1/2 inch score tape or double-sided adhesive is the perfect size for this, which is nice and lucky for me. So I'm just going to flip that over, center it, and take something to trace my shape. And then with some fine tip scissors, just go ahead and cut out your circle. I want it to be the orange side up. That's why I have traced on the green side. And then if you have any uneven bits that just need to be sanded just a bit, you can take your file and do that at this point. And then adhere to your front cover about 1/2 inch from the right-hand side, centered from top and bottom. From the chipboard, we're going to take these 2 cute little squares and adhere these at the bottom of our circle. Our first one is going to be about 1 inch from the right-hand side, and then this will be about 1/4 of an inch apart from there. If you received the roses in your pack, you can go ahead, add a green leaf to the background and a large rose to medium, and these 4 small buds with a cute little curly spiral. If you are received these shades of ivory, I'm going to show you how to do a similar look with these. So first I want to grab some green pieces that I want to add to my cover. And of course I don't have to use all of these, but I like having them ready to go. I'm going to take my largest green piece here, and I'm kind of folding up my leaves. So I've got the stem, and I'm going to add my adhesive down the stem. And I'm going to adhere these as well to there. So I'm going to put this up here about 1 inch from the top in the center of our yellow. So next I'm going to take another one of these leaves and do the same. So now I'm just putting that right on top of that last bunch, just adding some length to my greenery. Now we are going to start layering and shaping our flowers. Now here's the fun part, the layering and the sculpting of the flowers. So just like with the rose bouquet, there's 7 roses on there, so I've got 7 flower sets that I've put together. You could do this however you'd like, but I've got 1 large, 2 medium, and then 4 kind of on the smaller, more simple side of things. So if you want to grab some foam, a mouse pad, or even a cardboard box, which is what I have here, I'm going to also use a ball stylus. And I'm just going to start to roll my stylus to break down those fibers on my petal. Just like so, and then you can flip that over and do the same on the other side. So with your paper, especially these nice cardstock flowers, you just want to start to break down what's going on in there. Now I am going to take my 2 thumbs and my ball stylus and kind of mold the ends of my petal around. So you can do, a variety of different techniques. It's just kind of up to you how you want to do it. Just the idea is adding dimension. So now just over the barrel of my stylus, just going to pinch my petals onto my stylus and roll. So you can see I've already got a lot of good dimension going on that one, and you can just follow those same steps. And if you want to get different sizes of curls, of course you could use different things too. If you've got some like shish kebab skewers, that would be a nice size. Quilling equipment would also be great. So just start layering these on top of one another. So with this one, instead of going under, I'm going to go up with these. So now let's start to adhere these together. You can really see them come to life. So just making sure your petals are a little bit off center from one another, giving it a nice full look. If you have some Kraft tweezers, those can be a great help when playing with these flower assortments. So I've got everything in place how I like it. Now I'm just going to hold while it dries for a second, and while I'm holding it in place, I can kind of fluff everything up. Jazz it all up. Like so. And you can see now we've created a really cute and dimensional flower. So all I want to do now is add a little bit of, well, I could add greenery now, but I might actually want to wait and add my greenery once I'm putting it all together. So I'm just going to do something similar with my other stacks, and just kind of a variation of rolling under, up, keeping some things flat, rolling on a diagonal. It's really up to you. So let's go ahead and create our bunches and then add them to the cover. So I'm just adding these layers onto one another, and with this little guy, I've just snipped the center and adhered it, so now it kind of just appears that it has 4 petals instead of the 5. That to the center of my flower. Another easy and fun technique is to grab your ball stylus and one of these flower centers and just kind of wrap it around your ball. That just makes a really easy dimensional center. And I'm just going to take it to this flat ivory flower and just adhere that right to the center like so. This one I'm just going to cut out a little triangle from there, and then I'm going to add adhesive on one edge and then overlap them onto one another. This will create a nice little bowl you can see here, and I will add some adhesive to the bottom there, and then to my dimensional flower piece. This will just go right in the center. And now I'm going to take another one of these tiny little cuties and fold it onto my stylus and layer again. Now you can see we've got 7-dimensional gorgeous flowers. So I'm going to add my largest of my flowers with a little bit of greenery towards the bottom and overlapping on the circle. And now I'm going to take my next 2 medium flowers, and these are going to go. Then my next largest flower in size, put up there. And I've got 3 more, and I'm just going to kind of work those in where I think they should go. So I'm going to take my smallest of the bunch and work it into that little negative space and get one going up here. And now you can kind of just play around on where you want your last. Do I want it up here? I'm feeling like maybe I want it down here. But you do you find the placement that you like. Play along with some greenery. Maybe I just want some green pieces down there. But I don't want my flowers to go off my cover in any direction. That way they'll just get a little more damage than I want them to be. So I'm going to slide in my green leaf towards the bottom here. And my last of my 7 flowers, I'm just going to tuck it underneath both of these, like so. And then I'm just going to add some more green. This long cutie, I am just going to hide underneath this daisy over here. Just play around until you like where it lands, and then I'm going to add some more adhesive to my top leaves on the bottom and adhere them down. So there we have it. We've created a gorgeous flower bouquet in our bottom left, really adding some great dimension and a focal point to our cover. In that ivory flower assortment pack, I'm going to grab 1 butterfly and add adhesive to one of those wings. And I'm going to adhere it on the top right of my orange circle. And then you can add the rest of these gorgeous flowers to your pages as you decorate, or of course use on another project. Step 41, cut another square that is 5 7/8 by 5 7/8 and adhere this one to the center of the back cover. From the November Flourish page, we're cutting this to be 2 5/8 by 5 7/8. And then we are going to trim out a rectangle in this. To do that, you can take a ruler and something to mark with, or a scoreboard and something to mark with. And I am going to start to create my lines so I know which area I need to cut out for my rectangle. So I've got this down on the B side, and I have it on the 2 5/8 inch marking. And then I'm just going to mark that at 5/8 of an inch. So here, and go down with my marking pen all the way. And I don't want to go in deep because I don't want you to see the score lines on there, but I do want it just to be able to be visible. And then again, I am going to score again at 2 inches, or not score, but mark at the 2-inch mark on my scoreboard with my pens. And then I've flipped it, and now I am going to mark at the 3/4 inch line, and then at 3.5. So when you're done, you should have these markings like this, and this center is what we are cutting out. So if you've got a paper trimmer like this, or you can drop your blade where you want it to go, that'll be great. Otherwise, you can always use a Kraft knife and a ruler. So I'm just dropping it in where I want it to cut on the inside, and I'll do that on my inside markings on all 4 sides. Pop out that rectangle and let's measure this. Now I'm going to just see how it fits inside my spine, and it looks beautiful. So go ahead and adhere that down. While you're adhering this down, make sure that you're staying within the spine's parameters and you're not going over onto the front or back. And of course that you are staying within the top and bottom. Now we're going to take our November chipboard and we are going to adhere it on to the top of our label plate here. Of course, you can use your chipboard elsewhere and put in a label there and use it functionally. So now your album is complete, and if you want to add those extra inserts, those tags, and those pullouts from the side, let me show you how to do that. So each album came with 6 of these square tags, and then left over we have these cut-aparts. So we're going to take these 4x4 inch cut-aparts, one from each month. Here is the January, and we're going to adhere those right on to our tags. If you want to go the extra mile and round your corners, you can do that as well. And then you'll have leftover sentiments from each page that we can doll these up with. So I'm just going to have it be flush with my right hand side of my tag and just underneath my image. Now, because there's just 6 of these, I'm going to make it work by adding my next month, which in this case is February, to the back side. So all 12 months will be represented on the tags. And then when you're tucking those in, you can choose if you want to store those in the February or the January side. Here we've got a cute little hugs and kisses cut apart that's just going to go again on the flush with the right hand side towards the bottom. So now here are all 6 of those tags: February, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then add those to their pockets. So now for our side loading inserts, photo mats, we are going to take the Flourish paper of each and cut those to be 5 inches by 5 inches. And then using that same paper, you're going to cut those to be 3 3/4 by 1 inch. And then I've rounded all 4 of those corners. And with this 1 inch piece, you can go ahead and score in half or just fold it in half. Score at the 1/2 inch line or just fold in half like so. From that month's cut apart page, cut out one of the 4x4 squares some stamps, and some 2 sentiments. And we are going to create our little flip top photo mat. So on one of these sides, I'm going to add some adhesive, and this will go flush with the top of and in the center of my 4 by 4 inch piece. Add adhesive to the other flap, and this will adhere in the center of our 5 by 5 inch piece. With my little sentiment pieces, I've rounded those corners, and I'm going to add adhesive to that full little file folding tab, and I'm going to put this towards the top of my photo mat I've created, and then flip that over, and then match those 2 cuties up like so, and adhere down. Now with two stamps from the January page, I've just added adhesive on the back of the left-hand side, so I can slide in my photo and then adhere it all down. So here is what we have for February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So now we can just insert those into our pockets. So each side-loading pocket has 2 months in there. So I'm just taking my bone folder and pushing it down to the bottom, making sure my pocket is nice and open. Now I'm going to take my March and April and slide those in to my pockets. Do the same with all of your months. We hope that you've enjoyed creating this calendar album with us today. Go ahead and share your projects with us on Instagram using that Graphic45 hashtag. And of course, if you're looking for more great tutorials like this one, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and then hit that notification bell so you know every time we upload a great, fun, and fabulous tutorial like this one. Oh, we look forward to reading your comments below, and be sure to welcome Carla to the team and let her know how excited you are for 2022. So, as always, thank you for joining us, and happy paper crafting.